Sometimes I like to glow. Alright you guys, I'm starting strong with some primer. I'm using the Bobbi Brown. Nothing new here. We are getting ready together today because I made sure to carve out some time to do a sit down with you guys because I know you've been loving the get ready with me. So I made a little bit of time to get ready with you guys today because we are going to go out to eat. We do have reservations for a rooftop bar and I'm hungry. I can't wait to eat, but I also can't wait to just like genuinely spend time with my girlfriend because we've been super busy this year. Honestly, this is going to be the first time we actually go out to eat this year. So, yeah, we're going to get ready for that. I am not going to do any eyeshadow just because I don't feel like I have time for all of that. And we already have our lashes on. If you guys seen the last Get Ready With Me, I told you guys in that one that I don't really prefer to put eyeshadow on when my lashes are already done just because I know I'm not good at that kind of thing. So I am going to clean the brows up a little bit. I'm not going to put too much concealer though because like I said, I am not putting eyeshadow on. So I want to keep it as realistic as possible and I don't want it to do too much. So I did do just a small thin line underneath the brows just to kind of clean it up a little more than it already was. I mean, my brows need to be maintained, but I'm kind of scared to do that at the moment just because of the whole missing hair in the brow situation. I want to give it a chance to kind of like grow out a little bit more before I actually go in and do any major like maintenance of like plucking and stuff. I don't wax my brows anymore. I used to long time ago, but I haven't waxed them in a very long time. I just stick to plucking, honestly, and from time to time I'll laminate them, which I still have product left to do that. I'm holding off because I have hope. I do see like very thin hairs growing in, but nothing crazy just yet. I am going to underpaint and I'm deciding if I want to use the NARS like I naturally would or should I just use this one again. I really did like the e.l.f. one, so maybe we'll just go in with that again. I know we used it in the last Get Ready With Me, but I did really enjoy it and I haven't really had an opportunity to pick it up since, so let's just go in with this. We do know it is not going to be as dark as it looks, so we can kind of add. Not gonna lie to you guys, I have not washed any of the brushes that I used the last time. But if you recall me using this brush for foundation, which was this side right here, I'm using the opposite side for the contour this time just because I want to see how this brush performs with cream contour. And obviously, as you guys can tell, it seems to be working pretty well. Again, this cream contour in particular is a little faint, I guess, in my opinion. I don't know if I applied less than last time or more. I don't really remember, honestly, but I like to just slowly build it up. So maybe we'll mix or just add an additional layer. Let's just add an additional layer. I'm not trying to experiment too much, but we're in the beginning stages of the makeup, so I feel like there's really not much I can do to mess this up right now. So I did go ahead and add that second layer. Just added a couple more dots of product onto the skin just to deepen the contour a little bit. It may come off a lot harsher on camera than it does in person, to be honest. Just kind of looking at the difference between the viewfinder and what I'm looking at in my mirror. It does look a little more harsh on camera, but I promise everything will come together full circle. It always does. I do like this brush for contour. It reminds me a lot of another brush that I have. It's this one from Morphe, the E63. They're very similar. This is a lot smaller, obviously, which makes it even better to just kind of like concentrate that product where you want it. I feel like I could just go in with this brush for the contour on the nose, but I'm gonna use this little eyeshadow brush. This is the Luxie 207. I'm gonna try and do a better job of like telling you guys what brushes I'm doing. doing? No. What brushes I'm using. I feel like I have been doing that somewhat. I mean, but I want to be better about it. Although I have to say some brushes that I have, like this one that I'm using right now, is old. Like I got this brush back when I was doing BoxyCharm, and that was some years ago. I kind of low-key miss doing that, but I don't know. I don't even know if it's still like a thing or still around, but I do kind of miss doing that because it allowed me to review new products every month. I'm going to use the HAUS Labs concealer today. I do have the shade medium neutral, and per usual I'm just going to pop it in my inner corner, kind of like down here, down the bridge of the nose. Actually, I've been liking to do that, and then taking a little here on the outer corner, and then in the T-zone I could put some there, or should I just use whatever remaining product I have. This is a really nice concealer, by the way. If you haven't tried it, you absolutely should. And then right here. That's all the concealer I'm going to put on for now. I feel like I can do like a no makeup look with this concealer. I know that it's been trending on TikTok to do it with the Hourglass concealer, which I no longer own. I feel like I owned that concealer at one point. I might actually own it, but I think I own it in a very, very bright shade, which is why I will not be trying that with that shade, but I feel like you can achieve the same thing with this concealer in particular. It's just so natural on the skin, and it's very lightweight as well, which I do love. The way that this blends out is just so effortless. I didn't even cover my dark marks. I have two today. We have one and we have two. For foundation today, we're going to use the HAUS Labs foundation, and I'm going to take a pump of this. I don't need a lot, and I'm going to use the same brush I used, just the bigger side obviously, and I'm going to tap the brush into the product. So I'm literally just tapping it, and then I'm going to, once my bristles are all pretty much coated evenly, I'm going to go in on the skin and just start tapping that. This is a very skin-like foundation in my opinion. It's very beautiful on the skin. You get lots of compliments, or I have at least gotten a lot of compliments using this, and it's just really, really pretty. I do feel we can benefit from a brighter under eye just to make it stand out a little bit. Right now I feel like everything is looking almost one-toned, so I'm going to use the Maroon Glaze shade in the NARS concealer to apply it in the inner corners of the eye. I'm not going to apply too much of this. I mean, you guys have seen me do this 1,000 times. It just helps to lighten and brighten. For my under eyes, to make sure that they stay in place throughout tonight while we're eating, I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury first. I'm still going to go in with loose powder because I've been back on my loose powder train, if you will. But I'm going to use the pressed powder first just to set everything down and in place. So I'm just going to press this underneath the eyes. And this is a really nice powder to do this with. You could also use this powder for, you know, your entire face, but I like to concentrate this under my eyes specifically. And then for a little extra reinforcement on these smile lines, I'm going to tap some powder here as well. Then for our loose powder, I'm going to use the Allure Mercier. Is it Mercier? Mercier? The translucent honey. And I'm going to take it on the puff as well. I could use a sponge, but what's the point of dirtying a sponge just for this? Speaking of sponges, I haven't used a sponge to blend out like foundation in a good little minute. So I think the next Get Ready With Me that we do, we're going to use a sponge and see how the makeup turns out. So this is more of like a yellow based powder, so it is going to help lighten things and brighten the under eye even more which we love. And I'm not going to let that sit too long. I am going to wipe it off. I just need a bigger brush to do that. I'm going to spray my face down with some of the ColourPop spray. Just to set the rest of the face, I'm going to use some of my MAC powder. And I'm going to just press this on the skin. Just to set everything else, because we did put powder in the T-zone, but we didn't put anything on the perimeter. I do sometimes kind of go under the eyes, but not like completely under the eyes, because I still want it to be bright. But a little bit of this just helps to set things. And then right into bronzer, I'm going to use my HAUS Labs bronzer. And just to be extra, we're going to apply a very small amount of the ABH bronzer. I don't know why I had to think about that. It's in my hand. I could have just looked. I know we don't have any eyeshadow on, but I'm still going to do like a little blend right here. I just like the way that looks. I think that's enough bronzer. And then I do want to do blush today, but I want like a pink blush, maybe. Let's use Hourglass. So this is Dim Infusion in the shade Ambient. No, Dim Infusion is the shade. Ambient Lighting Blush is the type of blush from Hourglass. And let's pop a little of this on. So nice little pink moment. It's not an intense blush, but it works. Finishing strong with a little bit of highlight from the infamous Sephora palette, just because it's so natural and it just looks like our skin is just like glowing, and I love that for me. Brow bone. Lastly is our setting spray. Then a little tidbit that I learned a while back was taking a pressed powder of sorts, specifically maybe like the Micro Smooth or the Charlotte Tilbury, which is very similar and comparable in my personal opinion, but just taking that, some type of face powder, and just blending it into the skin with a big fluffy brush. This is like the final step. It gives you a nice airbrushed matte look, which I prefer, at least right now. Sometimes I like to glow. Alright you guys, we are finished. Makeup is done. I haven't put my lip on yet because I want to get dressed and all of that first, but I am obviously going to close out today's video here. Let me know what you guys think about today's video. Also, while I was doing this, I had a thought that came to mind, and that was doing like an ASMR type of get ready with me, where basically it's just a whole bunch of that and whatnot going on. Also, secondary to that, I did order a new microphone, so that should be here in time. So that should be here before I film that video, so the quality should be 10 times better. But if that's something you guys want to see, something you're interested in, let me know. I personally don't watch too much ASMR things, but it was a thought. Maybe I could do it for an actual video for you guys here. I can make it a Reels, or maybe I can do it for like Instagram, TikTok, that kind of platform. But let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments down below. Other than that, I have nothing else to say other than I love you guys greatly, immensely, more than words could ever describe. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and taking the time to watch today's video, and I hope to see each and every one of you in the next video or vlog, whichever one comes first, girl.